Hi, I'm Shelly Burton and welcome to Seeds of Greatness. Today we're going to be interviewing my good friend, the amazing Nelson George, about his film, Finding the Funk.
What is funk music? Musically, it's the bridge between 60s soul and 80s hip hop. It is an essential and underappreciated musical movement. At its core, funk is the expression of an idiosyncratic, creative, and visionary community of music makers. My name is Ahmir-Khalib Thompson, drummer and leader of The Roots, and we're going to go on a journey back into time throughout history, through your funky emotions, as we go finding the funk.
So thanks so much for joining us, Nelson. Finding the Funk, can you tell us a bit about your film and what inspired it?
Well, I've been a historian and writing about black popular music for years. I've done a number of books about it. And what's really interesting is that funk is a bridge between soul music and hip hop. It's like the link between, it's the music that evolved out of soul. It's also the foundation of hip hop in terms of all the samples of funk records. And yet there's been very little documentation. There's a lot of documentaries about soul music and books on soul music, lots of documentaries on hip hop and books on hip hop. But for some reason, funk has been like in the middle and kind of lost. And I really wanted to, grab a lot of these guys before, they were getting older as well. So we've been able to get some of the greats in the film, George Clinton, Maceo Parker, Bernie Worrell, Bootsy Collins, and the great Sly Stone, which was an amazing coup. He hasn't done an on-camera interview in years and years, as well as I got D'Angelo, who also hasn't done an interview in years and years. And it's interesting because I feel like for both of them, funk is this foundation music. Sly helped create it. For D'Angelo, it's part of his DNA of why he makes music. So it was just great to have that. And I think what we do in the film is go back to the roots of it. James Brown, Sly, that whole era in the 70s, and pull it all the way through the 80s into hip-hop in the 90s, and even up to now where there are like younger funk bands playing around the country and around North America. So it was definitely a labor of love in that respect, and a chance to really, a chance to interview Sly was unbelievable.
So how did that come about, hooking up with him, and what was the experience like?
Well, he has a daughter, Novena Carmel, who's a musician herself in Los Angeles, and I found her on Facebook. And someone told me that's Sly's daughter, and we just started communicating. I told her what I was doing. She knew about my background as a writer historian, and so she gave me permission, and she talked to Sly about it, obviously. And we did the interview at her apartment in Culver City. And it was really amazing because I couldn't believe he was actually there, because he's one of the great mysterious figures of pop music, and his interview is hilarious and very smart at the same time.
Oh yeah? How so?
Well, he talked about, Sign of Family Stone was one of the first really great bands that was integrated racially, it was integrated sexually, men and women in the band. And since his next band is going to be albinos, they're the last minority group left.
That's amazing.
So there you go. That's a sample of Sly.
So, okay, a little bit more on that. So, about community.
Right.
What role does funk play in building community or bringing people together?
Well, funk is it's a communal music. Unlike what's happening now where everyone's in their little room and they have their programs and they make, funk is a communal music. It's a music of a group of people together. So it's very different from the way so much pop music is made today. Solo people, little room. It's about a group of people in a room eyeballing each other. You like that? You like that? It's very much about teams of people. And I think that's one reason the jam band scene is very funk influenced, because it's a community thing. The audience interacts with the musicians, which is what funk has always been about. So if you go see a Fish concert, for example, they play funk in their shows. If you go see Les Claypool, if you go see any of the younger bands, Dumpster Funk or Galactic out of New Orleans, there's so many bands that use funk, and it's very much now, what you see now is if you went to a funk concert, you see 25-year-old college kids in a funk show with young musicians playing the music. So it has had a weird circle from a black thing only through hip-hop and pop, and now it's kind of a young, and in some respects it's a young white music.
Amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So in the trailer,
right,
you talk about funky emotions. You're going to take us on a journey through our
Right.
funky emotions.
Right.
What are our funky emotions?
Well, funk is visceral music. It's really not. You can write about it from an intellectual point of view, but it also is about. It's about. It's about feeling like in your gut, this feeling of motion, this feeling of emotion. It is very much not. It's a music to be moved to. So when we say funky emotion, we're really talking about movement. We're talking about getting you moving, getting you feeling. So even though the music is people talking about it, we have the musicians playing the instruments. You see Marcus Miller playing bass. You see Nile Rodgers and Stuart Asmussen playing guitar. You see Ahmir-Khalib giving you a drum lesson in funk. So it's very much visceral. You can describe it, but it's better when you feel it. And those are your funky emotions.
Amazing. Last question.
Sure.
What's next for you, career-wise, and what for Finding the Funk as well?
Well, Finding the Funk is going to be on VH1 in America sometime at the end of the year, but we're here at Hot Docs, talking to people. We just got an offer from a country possibly to buy the rights for it overseas. So we're definitely here to get those things going. And I'm also working now on another documentary about a ballerina of all things.
No way.
a black ballerina named Misty Copeland. She's she's one of the most famous black ballerinas in America. She dances American Ballet Theater. And so we're going to follow her career and then sort of do a history of blacks in ballet. I met her at a party, and I'd never, like, a ballerina, what the hell? And I actually she got me tickets and went to see a ballet. I'd never seen a ballet in my entire life. And I was struck by the physical nature of it. I mean, at the level that these people are dancing at, they're athletes. I mean, she's about this big, but her athletic ability, I've shot her working out. There's no way in hell that I could even come close, or most men could do what she does. Not just on point, but just the strength of her core. So I thought that really attracted me, that it's actually almost like doing a piece on an athlete. An artist who's an athlete. Yep. That's the way I would interpret it. So we've been shooting, and as you just saw, I just got a chance for a grant.
Yay!
And we'll be sitting there. So thank you for you guys. She was a good luck charm here for me.
All right. Well, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Love Toronto.
Okay.